Okay, so this week we have Chelsea versus Manchester City on Sunday the 25th of November at Stamford Bridge. Now, for these two teams, a lot of stuff has happened over the last week or so. Obviously, on Wednesday, Roberto Di Matteo got sacked as the Chelsea manager and Rafa Benitez was introduced as the interim manager. As a Chelsea fan myself, I think it's not the best decision the club could have done, but to be honest, it could have been a lot worse. And Benitez's CV is incredibly sexy, let's be honest. It's got loads of trophies on it, loads of successes, so hopefully Benitez can guide Chelsea to maybe some trophies and, to some good fortunes in the future. As for Manchester City, well, to be honest, they're just more terrible Champions League business for them, and they've done really badly in the Champions League this year, although they are top of the league, so that's good. Taking a look at the head-to-head, this is last 6 games in all competitions. Chelsea have won 2, lost 4. City have won 4, lost 2. Chelsea have scored 9 goals, conceded 11, and vice versa. City have scored 11 and conceded 9. The top scorer in the last 6 games in this fixture has actually been Carlos Tevez with 4 goals, which surprised me. I didn't quite think it would be him, obviously with all the issues that City have had with Tevez in the past, refusing to play, various other shizzle that's gone on. So yeah, that was actually quite surprising, to be perfectly honest, but it's just the kind of thing that jumps up. So to take a look at that says Chelsea Arsenal, don't worry, it will say Chelsea Manchester City. If we take a look at the form, obviously Chelsea's form, I don't think Chelsea have won since October the 20th, which is very bad. So this is being recorded on the 23rd of November. That's a month later. That's a big difference. Top scorers, City's attack is fantastic, I have to say. Dzeko, Tevez and Aguero, 6-6-5. Compared to Chelsea, Chelsea tend to get their goals from the midfielders rather than Torres. Torres, yeah, okay, he's joint top scorer, but he's nothing special. Hopefully Rafa Benitez can bring the best out of him. I think he will get slightly better Torres, but I don't think he will ever be the Torres that he was at Liverpool, which is unfortunate considering we spent 50 million on him, which is just too much. To be honest, I don't think he was ever worth 50 million, to be honest. I think maybe 35 at the most. Okay, what we're going to do this week is, instead of having it 7 minutes a half, it was quite excessive in the last 2 weeks, we're going to change it to 5 minutes, keep it on Legendary obviously, and change it to 5 minutes. Obviously, the stadium is Stamford Bridge, it can't really be anything else than that. This has to be fair because it's home advantage to Chelsea. And the weather, as far as I know, it's going to rain on Sunday, but to be honest, nobody really cares about the weather. People are just there for the football and not for whether it snows, whether it rains. It would be amazing if it snowed, but it's not going to. So yeah, let's just move along from that. Okay, here we go. Right, if we look at the Chelsea team, we have the usual people: Hazard, Mata, Torres. No Lampard still, although I think that's the default squad anyway. Interestingly, there it says Rafael Benitez. So FIFA, yeah, EA have already decided to update that, so that was very snappy from EA. And Manchester City, obviously their manager's still Mancini. I think it should be. He won them the league last season, so he can't really get sacked, in my opinion. But the things surprise you. I was shocked when Di Matteo got sacked. But this is the first goal actually from Chelsea. It's an Oscar goal, which Oscar is just my favourite player. He's absolutely I love this guy so much. He's such a good player and has the potential to be one of the best midfielders in the world, in my opinion. Other people may disagree, but that is a great goal there from Oscar, which puts Chelsea 1-0 up in the 9th minute. And would you know it, 26th minute in, Yaya Toure headers it in for a Manchester City equaliser. Yes, in the 27th minute. So this is kind of what I'm expecting to happen on Sunday. One team go ahead, the other team claws back. I don't think it's going to be a game full of goals. It could well be, but who knows. And quite further on into the game, another goal from Chelsea, from Gary Cahill. Quite an unlikely source, but still, it's football. It surprises you. He scored a lovely goal against Tottenham on the volley. I think it was about 12 yards out. That was a brilliant goal, that was, Gary Cahill. But then in this he scores a header, which he is very good at headers, as defenders should well be. But this puts Chelsea 2-1 up, which I can see happening, because last season the first game Manchester City lost was against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, which is the same fixture as this essentially. So this should be very interesting. Marco Marion was there, which is surprising considering he's been benched every single game by Di Matteo, which was one of his very few weaknesses, to be honest, from Di Matteo. So the game finished 2-1. Fernando Torres was the man of the match. That's very shocking. I think Torres ever getting man of the match is virtually impossible. You know, it's much more likely to come from someone like Hazard, maybe, you know, Aguero on the other team, or Carlos Tevez, those kind of players. Because, to be honest, I think with Chelsea's leaky defence, Carlos Tevez and Aguero are going to really seep through that Chelsea defence, especially with David Luiz there. No offence to him, he's decent, but he's very hot and cold, David Luiz. He can be good, he can be bad, and when he's bad, he's going to pay for it against people like Aguero and Carlos Tevez. So that's just really the unfortunate side of it. FIFA 13 for this one predicts Chelsea 2, Manchester City 1. I predict a 2-2 draw, because City are going to score goals, Chelsea are going to score goals. There's no way this game can be 0-0. I don't think Manchester City are particularly good at playing at Chelsea, but that's just my opinion. You never know, Manchester City could destroy Chelsea, which I'm not ruling out because of their amazing attacking force. So again, I'm not going to rule that out at all. Next week, it was hard to pick next week because there's no massive games on next week, but I've picked Manchester City-Everton because Everton are doing very well at the moment, so that should be very interesting to see how they get on at the Etihad as well. So yeah, should be interesting, that game. And as always, guys, just please leave a like and give feedback in the comments. It would, you know, be appreciated. I like to know how this kind of weekly thing's going, you know, kind of how it's developing, and maybe even some suggestions for different kind of different kinds of FIFA videos in the future. So thank you very much, guys. I'll see you next week with Manchester City and Everton.